It's a thrill to have so many people here today. Thank you for joining, and we're so grateful to our experts and our who are our speakers this evening. And I would be honored to introduce them, and they're just going to go back to back. Jasmine Albaran is the executive director at Seed Your Future, and she has an MBA with over a decade of change and systems management experience and a solid knowledge of associations and philanthropy. Jasmine brings her skills and expertise in planning, leading, and managing development projects and programs to the movement. And again, Executive Director of Seed Your Future. Jerry Pence joins us. He is the Assistant Professor Program Coordinator at St. Louis Community College Horticulture Program. Jerry is a graduate of Kansas State University with a degree in horticulture, yay, and has been the program coordinator and assistant professor for the horticulture program at STLCC on the Merrimack campus since 2013. The STLCC horticulture program is recognized as a leader in preparing students for entry to the green industry. Very interesting for y'all. And then also Carol David, our friend from Missouri Prairie Foundation and Grow Native. She is the executive director. The MPF is now 59 years old, and Grow Native is the 25-year-old native plant marketing and education program. Carol has worked for 27 years in conservation and environmental communications, development, administration, and leadership for private and nonprofit conservation groups, and also municipal and state governments. She's the chair of the Missouri Invasive Plant Council. So we obviously have the experts in the field this evening when it comes to native plants and horticulture careers. We are so grateful and happy to introduce them, beginning with Jasmine. Take it away, Jasmine.
Oh, thank you all. Give me a minute to share my screen and get us going. And as I'm going, please feel free to put any questions in the chat. Here we go. All right, so Seed Your Future is the national nonprofit that was created to help promote horticulture as a career path to students, middle school, high school, college, and even career changers. So we want anyone that's out there that loves plants, nature, the outdoors to know that horticulture is a career path and what do those careers look like. So I'm going to jump right in there to show you. If you go to resources, students, parents, educators, employers, these are the different resources that we have. Let's start with students. For all those trying to figure out what your dream job is, we have a list of 147 different career profiles. They're here in alphabetical order. You can zoom down, scroll up and down the list, and here we'll just pick somebody so you can see what the profiles look like. Name of the career, an image, a description. We let the students know, do you need a bachelor's versus a PhD? Here we list the 2- and 4-year colleges and universities that have horticulture programs across the country. We provide some salary information so that students can compare salaries and the jobs they might be interested in. We link out to professional organizations. That way you understand for your career, what are those organizations that you should be connected to for your lifelong learning as well. There's a video that describes like a day in a career of that video. So it gives you an idea of what you would be doing. If you go back to the top, this dashboard has lots of great information. Scholarships. We know college and university is not free, and so we have found partners that offer scholarships to pay for 2- and 4-year degrees across the country. And so we have that information listed by the area of study and then also who's providing that scholarship. So you just have to go to the particular partner and check out what those requirements are. They're national, and a few are state-based, but most of them are national, so anybody can apply to them. We also have a database of internships. Once you get into school, college, community, or 4-year, we want to make sure that you are getting and connecting with employers that you could then work with. And that's a great way of doing that is through internships. So we have about 150 listed on the website. Area of study, who's providing the internship. And then this one we break it out by state because we know some students want to stay local while some want to be able to travel. So please feel free to go on there and check those out. Here is the where to study map I mentioned earlier. So it's a Google map. You can zoom in, zoom out, move it around. So all these sprouts are a school that has a horticulture plant science degree. When you click, I'm just going to click on a sprout really quick. It gives you the name of the school, the address. When you click on more info, it takes you to the landing page of that program, and then it shows you what degrees they have. So we've made it really easy for students, teachers, parents to find the information needed to consider horticulture as a career and what that might look like. Really, I want to show you all as well that we have a blog section. We've started to interview horticulture companies and asking them, what are the roles that you have around sustainability in marketing, in accounting, in HR, and graphic design, working directly with the plants, right? Horticulture is a business, it's not just a hobby. And these companies have departments that need employees of different kinds of backgrounds. So regardless of what your passion is, you can find a career in this industry. And we've also have a couple of articles where we've interviewed young people asking them, what brought you to horticulture? How did you find your way here? What are you doing now? Because we know their journeys can help influence and help you determine what that journey might look like for you. So check out our blog section. And now I'm going to pop over to our YouTube channel, which is the We Are Bloom. We know hearing from people is what is very impactful. And so we have a variety of videos that talk about people's journey. So this one here, The Backyard Farmer, it's a TV show that is a part of the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. It's 70 years old or so, and we had several of our partners and board members were interviewed and asked similar, how did you find horticulture? What did you do within it? What does your company does? Again, showing real life people, real companies that are out there that want to hire that next generation of students. This tab, FYF partner videos, Longwood Garden, some of our other partners talk a little bit about what is horticulture and how are plants impacting our physical, mental, and emotional health, right? A lot of people underestimate and don't appreciate the value of what plants do for us. They feed us, they give us oxygen, they clothe us. There's so much that they're doing for the environment and for us. And so those videos are really great just to get a little bit more knowledge of what that looks like. We have this one that is horticulture is STEM career videos. When people hear the word STEM, they think about pharmaceuticals, they think about, being a doctor. They don't equate plants or horticulture to STEM. But it takes nothing but science to grow 10,000 of the same orchid or whatever plant it is, right? So we want teachers, parents, and students to know what that looks like. So we interviewed 10 different people and 10 different careers within the horticulture industry, explaining how their job is a STEM job, is a science heavy job, and how they're using math and engineering and art and all these different ways to navigate through their career. We also have a couple of videos that talk about the power of plants in fashion, on our mental health, in our communities, again, showing that value of what this industry really looks like. I'm going to pop back over. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So really just want to be able to, share with you that doesn't matter what you're looking at. Doesn't matter where you are now or in 5 years. There is likely a job within the horticulture industry, and Seed Your Future has resources for you to explore careers, and we are available to you. You can send me an email and say, hey, Jasmine, what does technology in horticulture look like? What does environmental studies in horticulture look like? And what does fashion or art in horticulture look like? And I'd be happy to share more about what kind of careers those are, who are some people doing that kind of work now, and so that you can have some conversations and explore that with you, because at your age, you're figuring out who you are and where you want to be, and conversations with people where they are now and how they got there is really important. We also started a new webinar series where we're bringing young people to talk about their career path within the horticulture industry. And we give them each 7 minutes to describe what did they do during college or university to secure a career once they started, and what are some things that they did within the first 10 years, giving you an idea of what that career path can look like. And then we opened it to Q&A so people can ask the young professionals. We record it, and those are also on our YouTube channel. We have three coming up, one in September, October, and November. And we have people with, landscape architects, turf management, groundskeepers, horticulturists, working at public gardens. I mean, you can work in so many different facets. Horticulture has public horticulture with that. Think about the arboretums, the public gardens, the floral industry, all the cut flowers, the wholesale. There's flower farms that are growing those flowers. There's plant protection. There's the soil, the containers, the transportation of getting those plants from point A to point B. That's all the logistics, right? Where you grow the plants and then you transport them to whoever is going to then distribute them across the country or across the world. Horticulture is a multi-billion dollar industry and it's worldwide. Absolutely, you can do it right in your state, in your city, but it can also take you all over the world. Think about it with a public garden. When you go there and you see plants that are tropical to, let's say, native Thailand, someone had to travel to Thailand and understand what are the plants that live together, what is their environment, what is the weather like, so they can replicate it in their public garden stateside and make that happen. So whether you want to be a chef to an artist, there is a connection to plants and horticulture. And Seed Your Future has the resources to help you do some of that career exploration and potentially find your dream job with horticulture. So thank you for your time, and I will put my contact information in the chat so that if anybody has any questions or follow up, you can reach out to me.
That's great, Jasmine.
Welcome.
Anybody have any questions for Jasmine while she's on here? That was such a great introduction. Just, I think it's you can't really understate just how broad this field is and how it connects to so many different interests. So thank you so much for pointing that out. And
Welcome.
those are amazing resources to share, really.
Excuse me, Leslie, could I ask a question?
Of course.
I just wanted the students to be able to go first, but Jasmine, thank you. I'm so pleased to know about your organization, and I'm embarrassed that I didn't know about it before. I have one. Mary has the same question I have about, well, not just how your organization is funded, but you said that your program is to bolster the horticulture industry, or help people with encourage careers in horticulture. But how old is it, and whose idea was it? I mean, what was a specific need, or was there a very specific need, or maybe it was a general need that's the founders saw to create the organization?
Happy to share. So Seed Your Future is 11 years now. We turned 10 in May of last year, and it was started by three horticulture professors, Dr. Mary Meyer, Dr. Doug Needleman, Dr. John Dole. They were at a conference for the American Society for Horticultural Science. So I'm sure Mr. Pence knows this. This is an association for all the academics within the horticulture industry. They were at a conference and they realized that not enough students were coming into the BAs, the BSs, the masters within the horticulture plant science industry. And so they said, we can either keep talking about this or we can do something. And as academics, they did a bunch of research. They talked to industry and asked, what kind of labor needs do you have? The second phase was a telephone survey, calling people in the general public, asking them if they knew what the word horticulture meant and what are their perceptions of the industry. And then phase three, we talked to students and we asked them, do you know what the word horticulture means? Do you know about careers in horticulture, and how do you want to learn about them? All those years then of research created Seed Your Future. We were created because, again, they felt that the awareness of horticulture as a career path had gone down. Many people have no idea where their food comes from anymore. They have no idea there's a difference between horticulture and agriculture. And so there was that need to get in front of students and teachers and parents so that they understood what this industry is about and what those career paths are. Our materials are for middle school, high school, and college students, but also those educators and those parents. Sometimes parents will talk students out of coming into the industry because they, is what they see. They see the person mowing lawns. They think that's horticulture. That's a tiny fraction part of what takes place in this industry. And so we are broadening the scope and the visibility of horticulture as a career path to those audiences. We are funded by industry companies. They know that our work is important to secure their employees of the future.
Jasmine, this is
Thank you.
Jamin. Could you follow up on that and let them know where you are right now, and why you were there, which relates to the funding question?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're based in Northern Virginia, but I'm currently in Chicago because one of our donors and founders, Ball Horticultural Company, which is a seed genetics company that is top tier in the world. They are on 4 continents, I think 22 countries. Phenomenal. They love what they do. 4-generation family owned. I'm there because they opened their trial gardens and they have these gardens that display their essentially what their seeds grow into, the type of plants. So customers come to their sites 2 days a year for these days to see what they're buying, right? They're buying seeds from Ball and they need to know what it looks like and how things look like together in a garden. So when they're selling it, they can really be able to share with their consumers what it looks like. So they innovators, collaborators, networking. And so they have about 700 people that come a day to walk through the gardens and hear about the genetics for the next year and what the company is working on. And they invite me to come and talk to attendees about Seed Your Future and the resources because they'll get, someone that owns a garden center and then they might have some children that come with them and they're trying to figure out where they belong within horticulture. And so I'm providing resources for those young people that come as well.
That's awesome.
Thank
And you're a nonprofit, so you do get some corporate donations or individual donations, but also grants, like you apply for grants too.
So in the past, we've only applied to horticulture industry specific grants. This year, we have started to branch out and try to find some state funding across the country.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. This
You're
is
welcome.
exciting.
Yeah, send her some reactions. Appreciate that so much.
You're welcome. And again, I'll put my contact in the chat so that anyone can follow up and ask some questions and happy to make any connections for you.
Thanks, Mary. I
Thank
like
you.
that. All right. Next up, Jerry Pence, St. Louis Community College Horticulture Program.
Yay, Jerry.
All right. You guys see the screen okay? Okay, good. Yeah, so my name's Jerry Pence. I'm the program coordinator for the horticulture program here at St. Louis Community College. And Jasmine, we participated in your poll. I think that you did in maybe 24. Was it 23 or 24?
The enrollment study?
Yeah, that was awesome. And we really appreciated that and used those results to take to the next level of decision makers. And it's really helped us a lot. So I really appreciate that.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. So we're a horticulture program here in St. Louis, Missouri. And as you can see, we are a very interactive program. One of the things that we value the most that we offer to students is the opportunity for them to get their hands dirty. Most of our students, we assume, don't want to sit behind a desk. And so we try to get them out from behind a desk as often as we can. And so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about us and sort of what we do. We have close to 200 students enrolled right now in our program, which is one of the larger horticulture programs around, certainly in the Midwest, maybe across the country. We have both traditional and non-traditional students, and by that I mean there's a certain percentage of our students who are working, and so they're because of that, we offer all of our courses in the evening. So we have evening schedule and a daytime schedule for everybody. We have a really great relationship with the green industry here in St. Louis. I was in the industry for 25 years before I was in this position. And so we've created a lot of contacts. My staff has a lot of contacts as well. And so we have this really great reciprocal connection, and we bring industry experts in to our classroom. We take students to their places of business. Industry experts are our adjunct teachers. We just really have this. We offer a career day that our students get to just sit down and talk with people about what are they doing and how did they get there and how much money do they make, and what are the different pathways within those different sectors of the industry. And so that giving relationship here in St. Louis is just really wonderful, and I think Carol can attest to that as well. It's just a very open community, and so we try to take advantage of that as much as possible. We have both indoor, normal laboratory type experiences for our students, but we also have 10 acres on campus that we manage that we call our garden classroom. And so we try to get our students out into that classroom as it fits each individual class, whether it's an identification class or a landscape management class or a native landscaping practices class. All of those get the opportunity to go out and engage, see face to face, and get to know the plants on our campus. We have a very good graduation rate right now, and we kind of go with the mantra that if you don't have a job when you graduate from here, you're probably not looking. Because about 80% of our students get a job in the industry before they graduate, which is really helpful to them, and it's we're able to help them make those connections, and they're all over the industry. Some of the reasons that students attend St. Louis Community College, it's very affordable compared to larger institutions. We have that flexible schedule I was talking about. We actually offer our classes in a block style schedule. So if a student is working and they want to take 2 classes in a semester, each class is one evening. So they'll be here for 4 hours. And so they can take 2 classes and not be here 4 days a week, but just 2 days a week and still have a life outside of school, which we are finding to be really beneficial to them. We have several scholarships. We give away about $6,000 in scholarships each year from local green industry people, some through this St. Louis Community College Foundation, some endowments that people have established over the years, and so forth. We also offer employment. We have a staff of 4 part-time student workers that work in our garden classroom, help in our greenhouses, those kinds of things. So they're able to get a really wide range, valuable experience. So that student worker is a great position. And then there's also federal work study programs that they can get involved in. And then of course, we just really value the hands-on learning, and we really push that when we're talking to students. So if you live outside of St. Louis, this list of businesses here really probably doesn't mean anything to you, but these are some of the places that our students end up at. The person who is the head of the grounds at the St. Louis Arch is a graduate of our program. Our students go on to work at Shaw Nature Reserve. They're working at Donald Danforth Plant Science Center. Some of them start their own businesses. So we try to touch every aspect of the industry that we can. And like I mentioned earlier, because of the connections that we have, we're able to really kind of put students in touch with people within the industry. So we offer 3 different degrees right now. One is an Associates of Applied Science degree. It's a 60 credit course, a degree, I should say. There's some general education requirements in that, so they have to take their math and their history and things like that. And then also we have some very good practical business courses for them to take, such as business ethics and management and supervision and things like that. And then they also have horticulture electives and then core courses, which are courses that all horticulture students have to take. We also offer a certificate of proficiency, which is all the horticulture without all the general electives. So just kind of depending on where people are ending up in their industry, where they are in life, depends on which of those they choose to accept. We recently, in 2024, were approved for a certificate of specialization in cannabis and hemp production, which is a growing field in our industry as well. And so that's being offered now. That's a short course. It's just a 13 credit. You can finish that in 2 semesters and then be out and working in the industry. And we are right now in the process of building a new certificate of specialization that's going to be called conservation horticulture. We're super excited about that one. I think that's going to really, really boost our enrollment. And so we're really excited about that one because that's really the trend. That's what our students are asking for, and that's the direction we're taking the program. This is just a quick. I'm not going to go through all these, but these are some of the courses that we offer. You can see what the core courses are that everybody gets to take, and then some of the electives. And of course, that elective list just seems to be getting longer and longer. So we're offering about 20 to 23 sections per semester. And so that's students can have a lot to choose from. Feel free to stop me anytime and ask a question too. We are managed, if you will, by an advisory committee. Each career and technical program at St. Louis Community College has to have an advisory committee that is made up of industry professionals. And so you can kind of see a list here of some of the people in the different sectors of the industry that they touch. And this is kind of a rotating board. So they're on for a couple of years, and it's a very hands-on board. So in other words, there's a lot of interaction. It's not, I just don't report to them what's going on, but they advise me on directions to go and curriculum changes and things like that. Help us with some fundraising and things like that. So they play a really important role in the operation and direction that our program is going. So like I mentioned, one of our things that we really pride ourselves on, and I think is a big, huge attractor for students here, is our garden classroom. It is sort of like a miniature botanical garden, so to speak. It's 10 acres, but it's not a botanical garden. It's a learning garden. So you see things here that you wouldn't see at botanical gardens. You see mistakes. You see trees that have disease. You see, plants that are struggling. So you get to see the good and the bad, and that's important for our students because that's what they're going to see in the world. It isn't all just beautiful all the time. And so we use those dying plants and those struggling plants in classes like our integrated pest management, where we teach them, okay, how do we diagnose these issues? And then how do we fix them, or can we fix them, and those sorts of things. So we're in the process right now of kind of expanding this garden. It's used by all different curriculums. We have art students, we have photography students. It's used this time of year. There's people here almost every evening taking senior pictures or wedding photographs or something in our garden. We have a big, what we call display bed that's along one of the major roads that borders the campus. And this year it's full of wildflowers, and it is the most popular setting around. People here all the time. So we really try to engage the rest of not only the surrounding Kirkwood community, but also the campus community, and try to get instructors to bring their students out and have a class in the garden and understand, what it's like. We know from all sorts of scientific fact that being outside increases your level of learning. and it stimulates things in your brain that aren't stimulated under a bunch of LED lights. And so we try to encourage English professors and math professors to get their students out here, just have them sit on the grass and learn their lesson for the day. It's a pretty amazing different thing. We do involve the community. These are just some pictures that show interaction between us, and the picture on the left is a plant sale that we have every spring that we invite the local community to. We have tours of groups. People bring their pets and their families and hang out in our gardens in an afternoon. We have industry events. So our garden is used a lot by the local community. And right now we're in the process of developing a new master plan of what our gardens, what we need them to look like in the future. The college has just invested about $7.5 million into the horticulture program. We have all brand new facilities. We have new labs. We have new green roof. We have an indoor growth chamber, new greenhouses, new facilities for our workers to operate out of. So it's a huge investment. And so our next step is to take that and go to the next level and start to try to fundraise for advancing our garden classroom and making it a little bit bigger, making it ADA accessible, and all those sorts of things. So that's where we're sort of at right now. This is what our new facility looks like. We just moved in this week, actually. On Monday, they started moving us in. And so we've got, like I said, two new greenhouses and just everything state of the art. So it just we're so excited. We can't wait for the fall semester to start. We're not finished with the summer semester yet. So we're really excited. So that's a little bit about us. We we train our students in all of those areas that Jasmine was pulling up. We train our students for all of those areas to work in. We work with Carol. Carol and I work together with Grow Native, developing a certification for them. And our students when they graduate here, we feel like they're ready to go take her test and become certified with Grow Native. And so we're really proud of that and the development that we have, and we look forward to future collaborations. And if anybody has any questions, I'm wide open.
Yeah, Jerry, you kind of touched on it at the end there. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about how you do incorporate native plants into the curriculum and ecological services of plants into the curriculum.
Absolutely. So when I started here in 2013, this was a very turf heavy program. And we just in looking at this program, first of all, I wasn't a turf heavy person, but we saw the future was going to be with native plants. And so we have actually that very first picture that you looked at, if I go back to that first picture, that was a putting green. And so that tells you kind of the direction that we took. It was a pretty hard 90-degree angle, or 180, if you will. And we went from a very chemically dependent turf heavy program to a lot of natives. And so we incorporate natives into all of our classes, in our identification courses. Of course, we cover all kinds of plants, but we do put a special focus on the natives. And they get special recognition for, the number of pollinators that they attract and all the ecological advantages that they give us. And so that's what our students are asking for. That's what we want to provide. I think this conservation horticulture certificate is gonna. I'm hoping that we outgrow our space by 2028 or something like that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and that's perfect because a follow-up, I was going to ask you, you answered the question, are natives becoming more requested by students? And it sounds like the answer is yes. And so then that conservation horticulture program, will that focus on natives then?
Oh yeah, strictly. Yeah, that will focus on natives, the management of them, the incorporation of them, how we manage them in areas like stormwater management, prairie
Wow.
settings, all those sorts of things. One thing I neglected to mention, which I shouldn't, I have an office with a window for the first time in 11 years. And so
Yay!
what I'm going to be looking out on is a seeded native landscape that the college has decided to go with instead of putting down sod. It's going to be, I don't know how many acres, but it's going to be pretty big. So we're
That's
really excited about
fantastic.
that. So that would be very practical experiences for our students. They'll be able to get out into it. They'll be able to watch it develop, and they'll be able to learn how to manage it. And along with that, we'll have bioswales on campus that we'll be managing as well. Part of our master plan incorporates a large rain garden at the end of one of the parking lots. So we've got big plans.
So I just want to clarify too that the beauty of that in terms of these young environmental leaders and they're thinking about their careers. I mean, that might mean that you would be with a conservation agency as a horticulturist, but it also could mean that you're helping to in your communities to expand around schools, in community gardens, in around hospitals, around all kinds of places. You could have a business that, or be a part of something in a community that would expand the natives beyond just conservation areas and the sort of places that we tend to think of.
Oh yeah,
That's fantastic.
and that's probably where the majority of our students end up is in the community. And so bringing that knowledge with them, they're introducing natives to people who never thought about natives before. And so that's part of our goal. We cover that in our landscape design classes, in our landscape management classes, all that. So yeah, natives play a huge role here.
And Mary, you had asked, is the Learning Garden public? And I think that Jerry touched on
It
that, but
is.
did you
Yeah.
get all
Yeah.
the answers that you were asking about, Mary?
Yes, all my questions are answered. Thank you.
You
Good.
bet. You bet. I think that's everything in the chat, except for all kinds of praise.
Mhm.
Good.
Any last questions before we move on to our final speaker? We're doing pretty good on time. So thank you both for
Great.
this.
Good.
It's so exciting to see the connections between Seed Your Future's work and survey, and then to see how you kind of have leveraged that. And and lots of other things too, but just the interconnectedness of us all is so apparent in this. And it's just great that to see the momentum that you're building and to know that, Seed Your Future's work played a part in
Yeah.
being able to do that, which is
Yeah.
just
The
so cool.
timing couldn't have been better for us.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Jerry.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, going to be quiet for one more second if anybody has another question. Okay. Without any further ado, Carol David with Missouri Prairie Foundation. She's
Yay,
one of the most
Carol.
passionate, hardworking people I know, and I'm really excited that you're here tonight, Carol.
I think you're muted, Carol.
Sorry. Can you see my screen?
Now, yes, and now we can
Okay.
Yes.
hear you.
Okay. Sorry about this. I'm
It's so
working in my
pretty. Oh my gosh.
I'm working. Yeah, I'm working in my husband's office because I'm having internet issues at my home office. But thank you so much for inviting me. And Jasmine, I loved your presentation. I'll be reaching out to you. I wonder if there might be some ways that we could collaborate. And Jerry, of course, I know about your program, but I really appreciated your presentation and learning more. There is a definite correlation between Jerry's tenure and the growth of the program. Jerry is just an exceptional leader and a very respected colleague. So some of my information will be somewhat similar to Jasmine's in Jerry's in a way. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it. I do have quite a few slides, but I zipped through them. So just a bit of background. I'm the executive director of the Missouri Prairie Foundation. It's a prairie conservation organization and a land trust. And if you're new to that term, a land trust is a special kind of nonprofit that protects land. And it protects land by acquiring land or perhaps holding conservation easements on land that other people own, but you as a land trust hold an easement on it to make sure that conservation values of that land are upheld. We protect original unplowed prairie remnants in Missouri. We establish prairie plantings, provide prairie educational programming. We run the Grow Native program, which I'll talk about in a moment, and administer the Missouri Invasive Plant Council. And I do want to give you a bit of background about Missouri's prairie legacy because it's so important not only to our cultural and natural history, but also as a driver to the native landscaping industry. In Missouri, we had 15 million acres of prairie until statehood in 1821. So that's the orange on the map, although a lot of what's not orange on the map was glade or open woodland with an understory or a ground layer of prairie plants. So about 70% of our state had some assemblage of prairie plants. But today we have fewer than 45,000 scattered unplowed acres. But those remnants are still incredibly important to protect for many reasons, which I've already mentioned, but also because those remnants are vitally important habitat for many species that simply can't live anywhere else, even on a prairie planting. They're also important because they are seed sources for the native plant industry. If we don't have these original unplowed prairies, we can't create prairie plantings or establish a new sustainable economy without them. And I have a term that I call the new tallgrass prairie economy. And I hope that all of you students and young professionals and others will consider that you may have a place in this economy and contribute to it and contribute to the growth of its wealth. As I mentioned, these original prairies and other original habitats as well, original wetlands, bottomland forests, glades, other community types, they are the original location of specific native plants, and those plants are sources of seeds for prairie plantings or other native plantings. And these arrows are pointing to just a few of the many plants from which native seeds are collected. And these remnants are a guaranteed seed source. Mervyn Wallace, he's the owner of Missouri Wildflowers Nursery, and he has pointed out that production fields for native seed collections can fail. Original prairie remnants and ones that are managed well are the only guaranteed seed source. So a production field is, suppose someone goes to an original prairie, they collect pale purple coneflower seeds, and then they plant a seed with just that one species. That's a production field. And those are very important, but they are monocultures and they can become susceptible to different diseases, different threats. And so these remnants are really the only guaranteed source. So they need to be managed well, and they need qualified people to manage them. We also need people to collect these seeds and be knowledgeable about them, and to sell seeds and be good business people. Just gives you an idea here, just a few species and what the seed sells for. Aromatic aster, $38 an ounce, or over $450 a pound. Royal catchfly, over $1,500 a pound. So there is money to be made, and there is tremendous demand. And there are, especially in the Midwest, many successful native seed companies, and they hire lots of people. So prairies are an ancient ecosystem in Missouri. They're about 8,000 years old, and they're a model for new landscapes. So the photo on the left is non-native tall fescue grass. In Missouri, we have about 14 to 15 million acres of this one grass, mostly planted for cattle pasture. the photo on the right is a prairie planting that was established from converting tall fescue pasture like the one at left. And this involved seed producers. It involved ecological contractors to establish this planting. With prairie landscapes, you can create landscapes for home landscaping, stormwater management, erosion control, pollinator habitat, wildlife and game habitat, livestock forage, even bioenergy feedstock, harvesting the plant material, and through anaerobic digestion create natural gas. And this is actually happening, and it's happening. Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but carbon storage and even sources of new food crops for people. And so for, where we live and work and farm, we're used to one purpose landscapes, like one turf lawn or a field of corn. But prairie plantings offer multi-purpose landscapes. Why is this not? Oh, so for example, that dark blue, you could create a prairie planting for bioenergy feedstock, but you get all those other benefits in blue. Sorry, there's a light thing in here where it goes off, and that's why the room is darker. You could establish native prairie pasture for cattle, and also be providing habitat for pollinators or wildlife and game, and storing carbon in the ground. So I just want to run through a few slides of different sectors of what I call the new tallgrass prairie economy. And in green type, you'll see kind of the economic impact and who's benefiting. So home landscaping involves landscape architects, designers, land care companies, native seed and plant industry. They all have to be knowledgeable about native plants. Here's just another photo. And we're not talking about just home landscaping, but also there are places like in industrial areas, like around wastewater treatment plants, that don't need to be mowed, but they need a lot of space for security reasons or other reasons, and those can be native plantings. The other thing about the new tallgrass prairie economy is that with conventional horticulture, or I should say turf management, you have mowing in the summer, maybe snow removal in the wintertime, kind of seasonal work. But when we're using native plants, we're really talking about supporting jobs throughout the year. We need people to be collecting seeds in the dormant season and doing prescribed burning in dormant seasons, and growing plants in greenhouses, growing plants outside, installing plants, tending to establish gardens in the growing season. So year-round work. Native plants being used, as Jerry mentioned, with rain gardens and bioswales on campus for stormwater management and flood prevention. That's cost avoidance for communities. That's jobs for city planners and engineers and designers and landscape architects. Just a couple of other examples there. Farmers are learning to establish prairie strips of permanent prairie vegetation within or around crop fields to control erosion, harnessing the power of prairie hydrology with prairie strips. So we protect soil for farmers and prevent fertilizers and sediments from washing away into nearby streams and avoiding higher costs for drinking water filtration. Also planting native plants to bolster pollinator populations that supports the agriculture industry and wildlife. There are landowners who make money leasing their property for hunting. This is per 2018 MU extension. It's really those are the correct figures. It's for 2025, but if you need to hire people to sustain your woodlands and prairie plantings, glades to support game for hunting, you can for turkey, deer, $23.33 an acre per hunter. You can see the prices there. That's creating wealth for the landowner and also for contractors who are establishing that wildlife and game habitat. Farmers, cattle producers also converting some of their fescue pasture to native pasture. They have higher weight gain on cattle. That means that they are making more money. Native seed suppliers are making money. And lastly, this is a photo of a native planting. The above ground biomass will be collected and are harvested, and through anaerobic digestion to produce, and gas will be produced, natural gas will be produced. And this is a huge project happening in northeastern Missouri and in southern Iowa as well. And also, it's not so much of a market yet here, but I mean, we could be making money. People who own land could make money by establishing native plantings for carbon credits, and which benefits all of humanity. So I hope that gives you a taste of some of the benefits of native plantings and the work that's involved. Native plants are on the rise, as Jerry said. I think, a lot of young people are helping to drive this demand, which is wonderful. Native plant consumption continues to grow. It's still a small part of the overall horticulture market, but it is a growing portion. So demand for trained people, for seeds, for plants is outpacing supply. We also are seeing that there are fewer students studying botany. There are plant collections called herbaria with universities that are closing. I know I went to MU at the University of Missouri Columbia, and I worked in the herbarium, and they got rid of the herbarium, and they didn't throw it away. It's now with the Missouri Botanical Garden, but you need to be able to see plants. You need to be able to study them. There are some horticulture programs at four-year universities that have closed. But we are so fortunate in Missouri to have Jerry's program, which is phenomenal, amazing in so many respects. So there are some challenges, but we have wonderful resources, and Jasmine just shared many wonderful resources. Jerry's institution is wonderful. And I want to just close out by showing you a few other resources that our program provides, if I'm not going over time. But in addition to our land trust work of protecting those original habitats, we also have the Grow Native program. And our overall goals are to increase the demand for and supply of native plants and other native plant landscaping and other services. We do that by marketing the products and services of our professional members and providing educational resources to consumers about the benefits of natives. And so the URL there is at the bottom of the screen, but at our moprairie.org, our Missouri Prairie Foundation website, you can find our Prairie and Native Plant Careers page. And we have a number of resources here that help show what you need to have a career related to prairie and native plants, and also how valuable coursework in prairie and other native plant communities and native plants, native landscaping are to various careers. We have a document called Career Paths and Jobs that work with native plants. There's information on 31 different career paths, the education needed. There's a list of professional associations with certification programs that support those career paths. We have some profiles from a number of people who have jobs where they benefited from studying native plants and prairie, so you can read about them. We also have a webinar with 3 different professionals. I'm hearing some feedback, and I'm not sure why, because my phone is on, but hope that goes away. We also have an annual free prairie and woodland hands-on training. It's to learn how to do prescribed burning and how to operate a chainsaw in the woodland.
Carol, it's getting really Kind of nuts. The feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll just have you guys read this because I don't know how to control this feedback. I think it's not, I don't know how it works. Oh, is it gone? Now it's
Run
gone.
away.
So as Jerry mentioned, we have a professional certification program. It's a voluntary program that tests and certifies achievement, certifies a certain level of expertise with native landscaping. And in fact, we're having one of our quarterly tests tomorrow. We have a study guide on our website. You can find lots of information at that URL there. We highlight our certified pros through social media in a variety of ways to highlight their designation as certified pros. We produce a resource guide annually, printed, and it's online as well. It's a directory of our professional members and the products and services they provide. And if they're certified, we also denote that in the guide. We provide plant tags like what you see here for our professional members. That's one of our marketing services to help them sell native plants that they grow. And we have a number of other professional education offerings, an annual conference for members, special tours, a native landscaping planning toolkit for municipal professionals, native landscaping installation best management practice for professionals. Of course, we have tons and tons and tons of resources for consumers, garden plans and a native plant database that's searchable and fact sheets and many other things. But what I was showing you is more pertaining to professionals and professional development. So I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Well, we do have one in the chat. Max was asking about, and we've got to be fast because we're a little behind now, but Max was asking about the transition time for that field that went from fescue to natives. Like, how long does that take?
Once you have all of the non-native vegetation dead, and once it's dead, it's about 3 years until you have a pretty established planting. And we've got more information on our website about that and a really good graphic that helps explain that too.
Mm-hmm.
And my email address is carol@moprairie.org. I'm happy to answer any questions. If any of you are interested in attending our professional member conference, it's only $25 and it's a day-long conference. And even if you're not professional members, just let me know and we can, we'd be happy to have you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Carol. This is so many resources here for you all tonight. And I know Jamin asked a couple questions in the chats. I don't know if you could, while we kind of wrap up the last remaining part of this meeting, if you might want to answer her questions in the chat.
Oh,
as
sure.
well.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll stop sharing here.
So much valuable information, and I'm really excited to see that your certification program has come to fruition, and it's going. It's very exciting.
Yeah, thank you. I think now I don't know what I've done, but I can't see the chat. Sorry.
I think because you're sharing your screen, so once you unshare.
Yeah, I'm trying to unshare and I don't know what I've done here.
Maybe I can take over.
I'm sorry. I've never.
I was like, wait, I'm the host. Maybe I can just steal it from you.
I've never had so many problems with Zoom before. Oh,
yeah,
there we
it's
go.
been a little bit nuts tonight. We're all having problems. I got booted out. Jamin got booted out. Thank you, everybody, so much. Wow. I'm really inspired, and this is the kind of thing that makes me feel so lucky about this job, is to be able to get to know such phenomenal people in the field, and then to be able to connect them with people who need to know about it. And so thank you, everybody, for being here for that. Feel free if you have more questions, put them in the chat. And if Jasmine, Carol, and Jerry need to leave, you can hop off. We'll be on for about 10 more minutes. But Jamin wants to say something.
Yeah, and everybody give them the respect and appreciation that they deserve because this has been fabulous. And Max in the chat said the nicest thing. He said, "Thank you. This was wonderful to view. This was just what I hoped it would be." That's so
Oh, that's
cute.
great.
I know. Thanks for that, Max. Appreciate it.
That's wonderful.
And just as another FYI, we had a lot of people who registered for this who did not make it, and I resent the link. It's possible there was a problem there, but the good news is it's recorded, and we will send this right back out to everybody who registered um, the recording, so they can still um, get as much out of it as they possibly can, and they'll get all your contact information if they want to connect with you as well. So that's fabulous.
Great.
Leslie, are you sharing your screen?
Yep, I'm getting ready to move on to the
Oh, did
next to
you
last. We've got some updates for you all. On at our first webinar, we started offering some stipended or paid volunteer opportunities that you can apply for. And so the idea is that MIA is a tiny nonprofit with 2 part-time staff. There are things that we constantly want to get to, but we can't. And so we've been kind of picking and choosing projects that we think our Young Environmental Leaders members would be wonderful for, that would help us build our ability to meet our mission, at the same time helping you build skills and build your resume. So I'm going to put this link in the chat in just a minute. And but I wanted to just show you the projects that we've got on deck for this quarter. And I have another one that just came up, so I might be sending it out to you all separately. But we've got 3 different projects this time. In the past, last time we had about 6 projects, from updating. Well, you were going to do this, weren't you, Jamin? This section. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. I was just Carol and I are having a chat in the chat, so that's
Okay,
all right.
I'll just keep rolling. Sorry, I get going. Last time, I think, giving some website updates happening. Some of these will recur, in another cycle or two. Some events page updates on our website, updating our grant opportunities for educators, things like that. Some other kind of research-based projects, just so many things that are really important to meeting our mission, but we're not able to get to all the time. Case in point, our first project that we are offering for folks to apply for, and just an FYI, we estimate the amount of hours that we think you'll spend on it, and we try and provide, if our estimates are correct, we are providing about $15 an hour. So it's not market rate. So that's why we still call it a volunteer opportunity, but it does compensate you somewhat for your time. This one is a data management project where you would help us update a Google map of our Show Me Green schools participants across the state. That's a really important front-facing, public-facing piece of our program, and we're behind on getting all the schools from last year entered onto that. So that's a real high need, and it would just give you some data management and a little bit of kind of like understanding about how Google Maps layers work. So if that interests you, please apply for that. Another data management, it's a common theme in nonprofits, is there's a lot of data to wrangle, is adding our Green Schools Quest participants from last year into our constituent database. This is a way that it makes it really easy for us to see trends over time and even communicate with a specific subset of our schools. So every year we need to add this, and it's about 80 schools. It's pretty darn straightforward project, but we would love your help with that. And we're estimating that one would take about 4 hours of your time. And the final one is, we have a project that we're working on in Southern Missouri, and there are our grant funder has some specific counties that they want to target And so we would love your help doing some research and compiling a list of environmentally, oriented and mission aligned organizations in Southern Missouri to help us kind of get started more quickly in terms of outreach with those folks. So those are our 3 projects. If you're selected to be the person working on that, definitely you'll get training from us, and we'll go over everything with you, and we'll have a very specific deadline. But I'm going to put the link to this in the chat in just a second. And yeah, please apply by, what's our deadline here? August 7th. August 7th would be the deadline so that we can make sure we get these projects going, September timeframe. So any questions on that?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Is it like in person or just like online?
Oh, it could be online, Mary. Yeah. Yeah. So you could do it from Texas.
I just wondering.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Yeah. So I'm in St. Louis, which is on the eastern side of Missouri. Jamin's in southern Missouri, and we have Yale members across the state. So we can't meet in person with everybody. So you would be our first out of state person.
Yeah, and I can just add to that too on that third one about the counties and the research on that particular grant that we're doing. We do have young environmental leaders from some of those counties, and I will, I in particular, I think, Leslie, if you can tell me if this is true, but I'll be traveling to a lot of those places, and most of them are in southwest part of the state, but some of them are up in Howard County, which is where some of you went to school, CMU. Some of them one of them at least is up in the Kirksville area. So what we'd like to do is make some in-person visits too, as much as possible as we build that. So the answer is, for that one, there is an opportunity for in-person, but pretty much most of it, as of the work that you would be doing, would be virtual.
Yeah. All right. Any questions, you can always email us afterwards, or just put it in the chat now. We are at 8:15, which is when we were hoping to end. So we are going to do one final thing, if y'all can give us 3 more minutes. The other thing we started with the first webinar was encouraging you all to start using a really awesome app called iNaturalist. And it's where you can make observations in nature and get help identifying what you're seeing, but also contribute to scientific data collection, and can even have your observations verified as research grade, which means that they have been verified by 3 certified identifiers and can be used in citizen science projects. So we wanted to encourage folks to participate in this, and then also keep coming back to these webinars so that you might win a prize. And so we're starting off with our first prize tonight, since it's very small, just our first group of folks. We've got 6 observers here, you can see, in the MIA Yale Observation Project. We've had 35 observations since the end of April, so that's great. Keep them coming. Kind of scroll through here and see all the different things. I loved seeing your all's pictures and just little snapshots of your life in nature pictures, which is super cool. And what we thought we would do tonight is provide a $10 gift card to the person that did the most observations in the last time frame. So, drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
Okay, let's see. JJ, you win.
Nice work.
Good job,
All right,
JJ. Are you still on here? I know you showed up. But yeah, so because we're late, I want to be respectful of your time and hop off here. But if you're not sure how to use iNaturalist and join a project, there's information on the app, which you can probably find, or, how-to videos, but definitely email Jamin or myself, and I'll put our contact information in the follow-up email that goes out tomorrow with the recording. But just definitely let us know if you have questions or can't figure out how to get into our project, which is called Mia's Yell Observations. So yes, that's all I got for you. But congratulations, JJ.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd first like to thank my mom.
It's like you're getting an Emmy or something.
I like that you thanked your mom. That's awesome. But thank you all for coming so much. Thank you, Jasmine, Jerry, and Carol. This was really wonderful.